Hey there, happy day 955 of What Shipped Now. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here with my jingly keys, my itchy nose, my peace tea, thinking about being on the warpath and priorities. And often our priorities determine whether we're on the warpath about something or not. Of course, today's idiom for supersize your business was on the warpath, and it means that we're super duper angry and upset about something, and we're out for blood, we're out for war, we're out for revenge, we're really upset and angry. Now, I've learned over the years, I actually was accused of being on the warpath a lot of my life because I get really impassioned and worked up about different topics and different things that are important to me. When I was younger, I would just get worked up about stuff that other people got me riled up and worked up about. But as I got smarter and older and wiser, I only got worked up about or passionate about topics that were important to me, important to the people that I care about, important to the people that I support, important to the people that I am here to help and serve. And every once in a while, I still get on the warpath, not gonna lie. I get upset about stuff. We all do, it's human nature. And to deny that I ever get angry about something, that would be ridiculous. Mostly I get angry about, these days, people being rude and disrespectful and bullying and treating other people in a way that they would never expect to be treated. And if they do, geez, I feel sorry for them because that's an abusive situation. An abuse of power, abuse of control, abuse of anything, and with the intent to harm and hurt other people. Evil. I'm all in on the warpath against evil because there's way too much of it popping up and rearing its ugly head for the wrong reasons in our lives right now. But being on the warpath, it doesn't have to be a negative thing. We can be on the warpath and impassioned about making the world a better place, about helping the people that we're here to help and serve. We don't have to be on the warpath in a negative way. I'm sure my ex-husband would probably say I was on the warpath in a negative way more often than not in our relationship, but not really. I mean, if you think back, whenever we look back on life and situations, it seems like the negative events, the things that we were upset about, angry, hurt, or regret, or feel guilty about, or whatever, those things seem to be bigger and take more precedence than the good things that happen. But really, when we look back on our lives, a whole lot more good things and neutral things have happened in our lives than bad things. It's just as humans, for some reason, we blow up the bad stuff that happens and we relive it over and over and over again, and we make it way worse than it actually was. I mean, when I think about, some of the arguments or the things that my feelings were hurt about in business and in life and with fights with my sisters or my ex or whatever, I look back and it was maybe a 5-minute discussion or battle or fight, or we were both on the warpath about something. And that 5 minutes got blown up into hours and days and so much time and caused way more hurt than the actual event itself did. And as humans, I don't know why we do that. We do. But here's the secret. We can take the good things in our past, the good things that have happened to us, the good things that are happening to us right now, and we can blow those up and make those bigger in our life and in our mind. And when we do that, we feel happier, we feel more confident, we feel better about ourselves and about our lives, and we know that we've succeeded way more times than we've ever failed. The fact that you're seeing me means that you've succeeded way more times than you failed because you're still here. You're still able to watch and hear and listen and be present. And so that means that you're still alive. And if we're still alive, we still have time to do what it is that we want to do here on the planet. We can create whatever we want. So on the warpath, I like that idiom. It was a fun one to talk about today. I had some examples from my business life in corporate America, my personal businesses, and from my family life. I grew up in a family of 4 girls, and as a kid, I was the one that was always riled up about something. And so I had my own expression. They always said, pop the cork. Pop the cork was my thing, which meant I was getting a little too riled up about something and that I needed to calm down. So I guess I was on the warpath a lot as a kid. And then priorities today, talking about priorities in the setup for success, pre-work to the Get Up and Go Challenge. The next 30-day free Get Up and Go Challenge will be October, the month of October, the 1st through the 31st. So I don't like to not do anything. So during those interim periods between challenges, I think I've done it twice now where I've just done a bunch of different lessons, just shared some of the stuff that I've learned over my decades because I'm 60 now. So I've been around and I've made a lot of mistakes, and I've done a lot of things well, but I've made a lot of mistakes. And if I can save one person from thinking and making one of the dumb mistakes I've made, it's totally worth sharing the embarrassment of some of my worst, most embarrassing opportunities or experiences, so that somebody doesn't have to go through that as well. Because you know what? It's so much more, it's actually more powerful to learn it ourselves, but it's also a lot more painful. So I say, let's minimize the pain that we need to experience personally, learn from those things, and guess what? We will all screw up enough and make enough of our own mistakes that if we can shortcut and skip some, it's just a bonus. So priorities, talking about priorities today, and do they change? And that's why I was flipping the keys around, because we're talking about the 7 main areas of our life, right? Physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. Those have to do with financial. I guess those all have to do with health. Financial was more wealth. Relationships, and then contribution. What are we here on the planet to do? Are we here to be the best mom in the whole wide world? Are we here to be, or the best grandma that we can possibly be? Are we here to change the world? Are we here to invent something? Are we here to make the world a better place? Are we here just to be the best version of ourselves and the best human being we can possibly be? I say yes, we are all here for that. That is all of our purpose. I spent probably a decade chasing after, what's my purpose? Who do I serve? Why am I here? What a waste of time and energy, reading books and books and books and tomes and volumes on passion and purpose and missions and visions and directions and all this stuff, when after my sudden cardiac arrest, the thing that I remember, the biggest impression I had from that experience, is that all I need to do is be myself. I just have to be me. And it's interesting that those are my kids' initials. B-E and M-E are my kids' initials, be me. I think that that's not a coincidence, but that's just me and my wishful la-la land thinking. So being myself is the number one thing, the most important thing that I can do, but also that any one of us can do. And our real purpose here on life is just to live the life that we have to the best of our ability, to do what we can with it, to do the best we can with what we've got right now, and to do that every day as long as we're alive, right? So the whole purpose mission thing, I guess you could sum it up in one sentence. It doesn't have to be thousands and tens of thousands of pages of reading and understanding. And guess what? That's other people's interpretation of purpose. And we get to each determine our own. What is my purpose is only determined by you. Just like my purpose is only determined by me. People might say, that's ridiculous. Becoming the best version of yourself, that's a ridiculous purpose. And I'm like, not really, because as I become the best version of myself, I am giving everyone around me permission to do the same thing. And isn't that at the core and the essence of who we are, what we really want? It's what I really want. It has taken me from a stressed out mess to actually drop dead to a person that lives each day with some joy and happiness and fun and excitement and possibility, right? Anything is possible because I'm open to it. Before I wasn't necessarily open to stuff. So priorities, have they changed? Will they change? Yeah, they're always going to change throughout our lives. COVID has been a huge, gigantuan priority shaker-upper for most of the people on the planet. The things that we say we want and are actually pursuing versus the things we actually want and are pursuing aren't always the same thing. I remember for decades saying that and believing in my heart that my family was my number one priority, yet my actions almost always selected work and making a living and making money and building a business over time spent with my family. So was my family really my number one priority, or was making my money in the guise of supporting my family and getting them the material things that they want, my priority? And was that more important to them, or was my spending time and giving them attention more important to them? Guess we'll never know, because I didn't do it that way. So set up for success is all about priorities, what's important to you and why. And again, it's what's important to you. It doesn't matter what I think of your priorities. I love it when people ask me, what do you think of this? I've rated this, this, and this. I'm like, I don't know. How do you feel about it? Because it doesn't matter to me. It's how do you feel about it? What does it mean to you? It doesn't matter what it means to me. Fun challenge today was about stories. I love stories. I'm getting better at telling stories. I definitely don't have the storytelling framework down because, yet again, it's something that I've learned and heard and understood lots of times on a conscious level, but I don't have it ingrained in my being. And until it's part of me and it becomes natural and this is the way I tell stories, I have to find the way that works for me, not just follow someone else's formula. I will continue to tell stories, but today we shared, what's your favorite story? What's one of your favorite stories? Which is really fun, because stories are actually how we all communicate with one another. mean, if you're having a conversation with somebody and you're talking to them about something, how often, if you pay attention, you catch yourself telling them a story? And really, a story is just, hey, this is the experience I was having, and then you just share that with people. Like almost everything we do, we talk in stories. It's like our brain only thinks in pictures and symbols. Not in, well, words are symbols, but it only thinks that way. That's how our brains operate, and that's how our memory works, is in pictures. And that's really interesting. That I think it's fascinating that humans can be such amazing translators, that we can translate pictures in our mind to words coming out of our mouth, that we can translate words that we hear from people into pictures in our mind. I think it's pretty cool, right? Pretty fascinating. So that's what I'm working on today. I am still reshifting my priorities now that my amazing granddaughter's in school. I'm not going to lie, I'm totally missing her. It's only been a couple days and I'm like, not crying, but I am totally missing her. I miss her energy. I miss the little fire. I miss my ability to just shut everybody out for a block of time during the day and say, hey, my number one priority is this little human. That's what I'm doing. And so for the next few months, I am focusing on what are really my priorities, what's important to me, what is it that I'm trying to create and put out into the world, and why am I doing that? Is it just for me to make me feel good, or is it to help other people? It's always to help other people. I don't do it unless it's to help other people. It's like collecting data in my businesses. I did it for a year and I'm like, all right, I've spent hours and hours, hundreds of hours, thousands of hours collecting all this information, and I have not done a single thing with it. I haven't looked at it really to make any decisions. I haven't made any decisions based on it. Do we need to continue to do this? And the answer was a resounding no, stop doing it. So I did. Until we built the team, and then we were actually able to collect and act on that information. It dropped off the map for about a year, and you know what? It didn't make any difference in the business, in the overall scheme and results of things. So we all want to always be looking at that. So I guess today, think of your priorities. Are you living the priorities that you really want to live? And guess what? The answer is probably no. I hate to say it, but for the vast majority of us, the answer is probably no. And then once you know, guess what? Once you know, you have to do something about it. Once you know better, you can do better. So you can change and shift how you spend your time, how you spend your energy, who you spend your time with, who you spend your energy with. And we'll talk about that in the next few days as we get ready for the next Get Up and Go challenge. We'll talk about what do you do when you find out that something in your life is really, really bad for you. How do you know when you need to let go? How do you know when you need to say bye-bye, enough is enough? All right, that's it. That is our summary for today, what I'm working on as I transition from the brick and mortar corporate world of business to the online world of business. What's working, what's not, what have I tried and epically failed at, why have I failed at it, so that you don't have to make the mistakes I make, so you can just go right to, hey, this is the strategy, I want to try it, this is the mistakes Sharon made, don't do those, but do this instead. And this is what she finally tried through many iterations and got to work. Just start on the what I got to work and jump off from there. It's like getting a ride up in an elevator before you bungee cord off of the building. If you had to climb up all the steps, a lot fewer people would do it because you have to climb up all the steps. But if you can take the elevator up and then learn from the experience, you're a lot better off. I don't know if that's a good example or not, but it's one that popped into my head. All right, have an awesome day. If I can help you in any way, ask in the comments below. Secretly, I actually have some time and energy right now for projects that I'm excited about, that I'm interested in, that I know can help move the needle on the world in a positive way and make the world a better place, not a negative way. If you got a project, if you want my advice or help or question on anything that's negative, I might not be able to help you, but I guarantee I can point you in the direction of somebody that can. All right, have an amazing day, and I will, of course, be with you tomorrow.